Assalamu alaikum everyone, my name is Farah Halabi and I'm a professional Muslimah life coach. Welcome to day 21 of my Ramadan Reflections. Tonight I'd like to ask you a question, as always. What have you learned about yourself this Ramadan? What do you know about yourself during this month that you didn't know about yourself last month? Or in the last 2 months? Or since last year? What has been something that you now know about you, about your capabilities, about your strengths, about your weaknesses, about you as a person that you didn't know before? And when you're thinking about it, you might be thinking, well, why is she asking right now? Well, Ramadan's not like any other month, is it? You don't generally get up super duper early to have suhoor. Generally in Ramadan, generally outside of Ramadan, you you might not feel that sense of wanting to even make dua, making dua, or really wanting to optimize your ibadah. I mean, you might do, I don't know, but I'm gonna generally say that during Ramadan something changes, whether you're doing a lot or whether you're thinking a lot, whether you're not doing much but thinking about that not doing, or whether you're doing lots and lots and lots and still thinking about lots and lots and lots. There is something that is quite different in Ramadan generally. What has it been for you when you think about the Ramadan that you're having, the experience of this month that you are experiencing? Think about it now. What do you know about yourself that you didn't know before? The reason I'm asking is because today subhanAllah has been, it's been a day of lots and lots, subhanAllah, but it's been a day of lots of conversations, of opportunities. A lot of stuff hasn't gone the way that I had planned, subhanAllah, but there's been a lot of learning opportunities, and I was reflecting upon what I now know about myself. And when I was doing that, I was thinking, if we think about Ramadan as a training, as a physical, spiritual and mental exercise in training ourselves to do more, to connect more, to understand ourselves more, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more. But it's a very physical, spiritual and emotional endeavour. And if you think about, like, if athletes train for their races, if you're training for a marathon, let's just say, you might start off, like, you wouldn't just decide that you're going to do the marathon and then just, like, the next week run the marathon. There would be an element of, well, lots of planning, lots of training, and lots of gradually working up to a longer distance, maybe a bit faster, but you'd gradually work your way up. You wouldn't stay at, let's just say, I don't know, 5k at a saunter. You wouldn't just do that. You wouldn't stay, sauntering along for 5 kilometers and thinking, right, okay, if I just keep doing this, I'm going to be prepped for the marathon. You'd push yourself a little bit. Once that 5k was comfortable or doable for you, you might push yourself to run 10 kilometers, or you might push yourself to run a bit faster, for a faster time. But you wouldn't stay the same. If the goal is to run the marathon, then you would be planning accordingly and extending and pushing yourself a little bit further within healthy, within a healthy way. Like, you'd be taking all your supplements and eating healthily and resting well, and you'd be preparing your body, but there is also an element of preparing your mind. But you wouldn't stay in the comfort zone thinking, okay, I comfortably can run 5 kilometers, I'm all good, this marathon, be a doddle. Ramadan's no different. No, you're not running around 26 miles or however long the marathon, I think it's 26 miles. No, you're not running around 5 kilometers, but you are, it is a training, it is an exercising, it is a getting you in on the pathway, on the journey to achieving what you want to achieve. Maybe not just for Ramadan, but maybe throughout the year. Maybe Ramadan is your fertile training, planting the seeds of that training, and then during Ramadan you water those seeds and you carry on those acts throughout the year. But during Ramadan, to push ourselves a little bit, just to stay up, 5 minutes later, to maybe read one more page of Quran, maybe to stay in sujood just that tiny bit longer, to pray a couple more rakahs than you might usually do, to push yourself a little bit more, because you can comfortably, whatever it is that is in your comfort zone, you can do that. Alhamdulillah, great. But in that pushing yourself, there's a real stretching. There's a real stretching of your resources, of your time, of your energy, and it's giving that a really good workout. Not just doing the same old and feeling comfortable about it, but just pushing yourself a little bit, just a tiny bit. I'm not saying going from, generally reading, 1 page of Quran every so often to reading 100 pages a day, but just that pushing yourself to do a couple more pages, maybe a few more pages after that, or maybe if you haven't got into the habit of reading Quran, maybe making dua, doing your dhikr, doing something that's just extending from the norm, that's pushing yourself a little bit more, because it's in that extending, it's in that growth, it's in that stretching that we are giving ourselves a good old workout, where we're giving ourselves the chance to get that, get that spiritual heart pumping, not just the physical heart, but that spiritual heart pumping with goodness that is being pumped around us, empowering, beneficial, serving thoughts, serving connection thoughts, feeling quite good about ourselves that we've done that, and then giving gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's almost like every time you give gratitude, it's like a beat of your spiritual heart. It pumps it all around you, so you feel it, in your fingers, in your toes, and you feel that sense of alhamdulillah, that sense of achievement, that sense of I've had a really good workout, I've really stretched myself, and alhamdulillah, I'm reaping the rewards of it. I'm reaping the rewards because I'm growing, and I know I can do more. I know that I can do, not have to. And that's the difference between how you think you should be doing this Ramadan to actually doing it, to actually just cracking on and doing it. So I'll ask you again, what have you learnt about yourself this Ramadan that you didn't know before? What is it that you can see that you are capable of with a lot less than you're used to? SubhanAllah, every single year I am drawn to the superpowers that we all have, SubhanAllah, but I'm drawn to really seeing that come to life, that with a lot less sleep than I'm used to, with a lot less food than I'm used to, with a lot less energy than I'm used to, I'm still capable of doing so much more, SubhanAllah. And sometimes I was going to say the excuses, but the permissions I give myself outside of Ramadan, I was like, oh, don't worry, just you don't have to wake up so early. As long as you kind of get your fajr done before sunrise, you'll be all right. Or, just do your fajr. Just do your fajr, it's all right. You're tired. And that waswas. During Ramadan, subhanAllah, it doesn't feel like a chore. It doesn't feel like, oh my goodness, this is a lot. And I know that that's not the experience for everyone, but I'm so drawn to, when I think about what this Ramadan has meant and what it does mean, that when I think about how I am capable of doing so much more with a lot less than I'm used to, and that I'm doing so for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that inspires and motivates me. But more so, it helps me when I'm in my dips, when I'm thinking, when I get into my head, when I think I've got so much to do around the house, I've got lots and lots, the kids need me, this, that and the other. And if I only had more time, if I only had more time, then I'd do more ibadah. Or I might get into my head that, okay, well, I don't have time for that, so I'm just going to do the bare minimum. And it's the debate that rages in my mind. But when I'm drawn to, or when I come back to the truth, when I come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what's in my heart. He knows what I've got going on. He knows my condition. I know that he will not burden me with more than I can bear. That my home, my children, my work are not there to finish me off, subhanAllah. That they are all part and parcel of my life and how I can reap the rewards of Ramadan. And I think I've spoken about this before, that during Ramadan I do holy ironing. But all of my chores today, subhanAllah, all of the stuff that I've done around the house, I'm constantly on rote. I'm reading my du'as, I'm reading my adhkars, I'm just remembering, I'm just connecting, subhanAllah. I'm talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whilst I'm doing what I've got going on. And then when I make a spare moment, then I can intentionally, purposefully, either read a couple of pages of my Quran or all the other acts of ibadah, give some charity, make some dua. Even talking to my children today, I intentionally, purposefully decided that was what I was going to do as an act of ibadah, as an act of pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Helping my son fix some issue on his gaming console, which usually would go right over my head, and I'd be like, no, I've got no time for that. I've got no desire to even do that. But today I chose to, and I decided to help him with that, intentionally, purposefully, to help him, but also as an act of connecting with him, helping him through a problem. We talked about, reliance upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and, we were brainstorming different solutions. And mashallah, that in and of itself was an answer to a dua that I've made years ago. Having a loving, having an honest, open relationship with my children. They're the moments that, subhanAllah, I can see my du'as from years gone by being answered, being lived, being verified, being validated, if you like. And that inspires me to make more and more du'as. Now, I've gone off topic here now, but I'm going to come back to you and ask you, what do you know about yourself? And what would you like to know? What would you like to find out about yourself? What would you like to think about yourself during this month of Ramadan? But what do you know about yourself this Ramadan that you didn't know before? If you don't want to pop it in the comments, then please DM me, because I'd love to know, and I'd love to know what comes up for you. And if you are a professional Muslim woman that is running around doing lots and lots and lots, whether it be in her business, in her home, in her community, and you're feeling like, we're about to leave this beautiful month, and you're feeling like you've not done enough, or you're feeling, you're giving yourself a bad old time or tough time, then let's have a conversation. Let's talk, because by helping you just put into perspective what you have got going on, and helping you maximize and optimize all of those hats that you wear, all of those hijabs that you wear, all of those roles that you perform in a streamlined way, that it is you at the center of all of those roles, doing them to the best of your abilities, worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and doing so with the intention of earning his rewards. Yes, there is the Quran that obviously, yes, absolutely, reading Quran, doing the extra nawafil, and the ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, most certainly, especially during these nights. But during the day, during your life, in your world, you have every opportunity to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by utilising the gifts that he's given you, whether it be your kids, whether it be your husband, whether it be your home or your business or your community or your friends or your family. You are the one at the centre of that worshipping of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when you're optimizing you, when you are understanding of who you are and how you were created and how you experience life and really what is going on for you, then you will not only be able to see how you can eke out every last bit of blessings this month has to afford in a way that works for you. Not in a way that everyone else is doing it. Everyone else is Ramadaning in their own unique way, but really bespokely Ramadaning to your best abilities. DM me or you can email me at connect@farahhalabi.com for my next available consultation, inshallah. But for now, I'm going to leave you. As always, I pray that you are safe, well, happy and healthy, and I shall pop on tomorrow for another little convo. But for now, take care. Assalamu alaikum.